Hello and welcome to another pattern recognition video where you try and solve puzzles to improve your chess. So I'll have 10 puzzles for you today rated 2000 to 2500 as I had some viewers who wanted some more difficult puzzles. So hopefully these are good enough. They'll be on discovered attacks. So let's begin the first puzzle. And for anybody new to pattern recognition, you basically want to solve a set of puzzles, whether it's 5, 10, or 100 or whatever, and you solve them more than once. That way, by solving them multiple times, it'll help you remember the tactics and the patterns better, and hopefully you can use them in your own game. So, where do you begin? Well, you want to see what move was just played, of course. We have a pawn that's pushed forward attacking our queen, so we probably have to deal with that. Unless we have something that leads to a checkmate. So if you look at the material, it looks like we have 7 pawns and our opponent has all 8. So we're down by a pawn and the rest of the material is equal. So now checks, captures, and threats, you always want to take a look at those. Checks first as they're the most forcing. And what do we have here? Do we even have any checks? I mean, we could go there, or queen would just be captured, by either pawn. So maybe we don't have any good checks. Captures, you want to look at any unprotected pieces first, which we do have an unprotected queen here. So maybe is there a way to take advantage of that? And it's supposed to be on discovered attacks. Now, these puzzles were from games that where players are rated 2000 to 2500, so maybe you have to set up the discovered attack, but I don't see any good checks. Captures, I don't really see anything. I mean, and no unprotected pieces. I mean, if we capture here, our queen would be captured. So threats, maybe we could threaten a checkmate in one, as this bishop has the great diagonal here through the center up towards the king side. So maybe we could just put our queen here and then with the battery threaten a checkmate, excuse me, here. So how would that be prevented? He can't block with the bishop, of course, or we would just capture that with checkmate. So after we go here, they could block this way, but then if they do that, then we'll grab a bishop for free. It'll no longer be protected. So another way would be to push this pawn. So if we put our queen here, threatening the mate, what then? They push that pawn here. I mean, then we could just take it. And then we're threatening to capture this pawn with which will kind of discover an attack of the checkmate again. Oh, excuse me. So maybe that's the way to go. We set up a mate threat. They block it. We take. And, if they take again, well, then we can just capture with the bishop, and we're not only attacking the queen, but then we're threatening that mate. So that's what I'm going to go with. Let's see if that's what they wanted. Okay, it looks like that was it. So we go there. Oh, now they have this attack, so that's pretty clever. That blocked the threat, and the queen's under attack. So now, what do? We could just move our queen to safety and grab this extra pawn. So maybe that's the way to go. Or do we just take this way and trade queens off? So now if we reevaluate looking at the material, once we grab this pawn, we will have 7 pawns and our opponent will only have what, 4, 5, 6 after that. So that would benefit us to trade down. So what do you think? Go here. If they take our queen, We grab their queen. And then if they decide to, go here, then our knight is covering that. And there's supposed to be a discovered attack. I mean, I guess that once we go here, we're discovering that checkmate threat after this pawn is moved. So that's probably the right way to go. But, I just want to make sure if we take this pawn attacking their queen, can they do anything else? No, they have to capture or block our mate threat. So that's probably the way. Oh, no, they don't like that. So maybe they just want us to move out of the way. No. Oh, wow. All right. What am I missing? Oh, even better. Oh, wow. Okay, we grabbed the bishop. Now, I hope you did better than I did in that. This is one of my weak areas, is the harder puzzles, harder tactics. I would probably be a higher rated player if my calculation and tactical ability, if I could just calculate deeper and faster, of course. So speed of calculation and calculation is my weak spot. So, feel free to leave a comment in the videos if you have an area that you want to try and improve. Okay, so now there's the discovered attack right there. And we grab that queen. All right, so that one was rated 2387, so that's probably why that was a little more complicated. On to puzzle number 2. So the queen has just captured a pawn here. So if we look at the material, we have 6 pawns. Our opponent has, 7? And the rest of the material is even. Opposite colored endgame, or opposite colored bishop endgame. So that can be more drawish, but we still have, queens and rooks on the board. And we're down a pawn. So, discovered attack. Well, right away I noticed that we're lined up on the queen. The less valuable rook is lined up on the more valuable queen with the bishop in between. So, where can we move this bishop, to the most advantage? We don't want to go there. We'll just be, I guess we could go there because their queen would be under attack. But once we move this bishop, and if they take our rook, then we can capture here. Let's see. Where is the best place to move this rook? Well, probably up here where it also, or where's the best place to move this bishop? Probably up here where it attacks the rook here as well. So then if that queen runs to safety, then our bishop can snatch up the rook. Now, what we have to look at, checks, captures, and threats, is see, I guess I should have done that first to see if we have any good checks on the king, but I don't see anything. Now, once we go here, what could they do? Well, I guess they could go there or there. If you're going to lose the queen, you want to take something with you, but they'll probably just try and save the queen by moving it, and then we can grab their rook. But the problem will be that once our bishop takes the rook, we have the other rook ready to swoop in. Not quite a back rank mate, but anyway, let's take a look here. This is what I'm going with. And pause the video at any time if you need to think longer. Okay, so here the queen captures a pawn and also goes after our queen, but it doesn't matter. Well, I guess that does make a difference. Because now, if we take, they can capture here with a check. So that's interesting. That changes things up a little bit. And remember, when you're solving puzzles and trying to improve your pattern recognition and calculation as well. These harder puzzles will do both. Now, if you just want to focus on recognizing patterns, well, then you might want some easier problems. But if you're a more advanced player, then solving difficult puzzles like this will have not only pattern recognition benefits, but also it'll help improve your calculation for tactics and stuff. All right. So what do we do now? Oh, okay. I guess we can go there first. And then once they capture, now we can grab the queen, and then we can go after that other rook. So that's how we'll have to do it. Check first. So once again, checks, captures, and threats. Looking at checks first after each move is usually the best thing to do. All right, so now we can grab the queen, and then we pick up that rook. And so now we're ahead by a whole rook. All right, on to puzzle number 3. What do we have here? Okay. Oh, the king just retreated because the rook was checking. So now I see. So material. What do we have? 4 pawns versus 3. So we're ahead by a pawn. And we have 2 pieces for one of the rooks. But we are in danger here of a capture. So that does not look good at all. They could just take our bishop here. Okay, so how do we deal with this? Well, if we look at checks, captures, and threats, I mean, we could just check the king. Then what? He could block. Remember, when a king is being checked, the 3 options: capture, block, or run from the attacker. So if we go there, he could block or run. There's no way to capture. But is there, are there any mate threats? Also, we could check with the knight. So if we play that, the king would have to move. If he goes towards the center, we could check. Well, either way, wherever the king goes, here or here, the knight could move here, checking again. And then that would give us time to run down here and defend our bishop. But then they could just pick off this other pawn. So what do we do then? All right, and these are supposed to be problems that lead to a win, or a 1 position. So how do we do that? I don't know. The knight seems to be a good threat. I mean, if we look again at this attack by the rook, and the options are the king moving forward or blocking, but I don't know if that's forcing enough. So probably this knight move, the king would have to move. And wherever he goes, we could move here with a check. Again. Okay, if we do that, let's say we check, the king moves towards the center. We check again, and if the king keeps moving towards the center, what do we do then? Oh, or maybe there's a way to start. Well, then we could attack with our rook. Wow. I don't know about this one. I hope you're having better luck than I am. This one is a little more tricky. So what am I missing here? And we do have these two passed pawns, but is there a way to get those moving? All right, I may have to just make a move here because otherwise this video will go on forever. I'm thinking that's the most forcing move. Okay, that's what they wanted. Oh, and I didn't look at this, him coming forward, because now we're blocking the path of the rook. So yes, I need to work on my more difficult tactical problems and skills. Okay, well that changes things up because now we have the discovered attack. You know, once this knight moves, but where is best to move it to? Maybe somewhere where we could fork these two, but it would have to lead to a check because if not, they would have time to capture our bishop with check. So what do we do? We could go here, deliver. No, that would just, they could just capture there. Oh, no, they can't because it's a discovered attack. All right, so this move, discovered attack, then what? The king has to move. Either back up. He probably would want to come forward into the position. So if he does that, what do we do then? Although, if we need to get to this square, where else can we attack that? From nowhere else, unless we capture that, but then they could take us. All right. I got to do something here. So, I mean, do we just check again? And the king starts running somewhere. But where? Or, do we move our knight here for some reason? Then we could check again. Here we're protected, but then we... All right, I don't know. I'm going to have to move this knight. This doesn't look too good, though. But it is a double discovered check. So we'll try that. No, they don't want that. I just can't see the follow-up. Maybe there. Okay, now what are we doing? Deliver. If we try to check again, they can just capture us. I mean, now I guess we could go here. And we're protecting our bishop. And what else? Can we set up a mate? We're cutting that, all of that off. The king can't go here or here. If we go there, we're protecting our bishop. And we're protecting the pawn. So maybe they want us to go there. Okay, I guess so. And really, they're going to go that way? I mean, now we can just take that. Okay, I don't know. That one was kind of crazy. I hope you did better than I did. On to puzzle number 4. Okay, what do we have here? The king has pressed forward. And like I said, feel free to leave comments with any requests. If there's something you really want to see in future videos, I'll try and do a video on that topic or subject. And they can be anything: openings, strategy, end games, more puzzles. Okay. The king has stepped forward. Why? I guess looking for a place to run. I mean, I don't see why. Okay, the king, where was the king? King was here and just moved forward, but why? Why didn't he just capture this pawn with check, start harassing our king? All right, anyway, it doesn't matter now. They've moved here. Maybe they're trying to attack, start attacking and go for a checkmate, but what does white have? In material, pawns are what, even? We have queens, checks. Okay, we could go there and check. That's the most obvious move. The king would be forced to go here, the only square it can move to. Oh, wait, it can't. Oh, yeah, never mind. It can go there. So we go there, delivering a check. King can only go here. And then what? I don't see a good follow-up after that. So, and we're trying to get oh, sorry. The discovered attack. I apologize. I get so focused on looking at things that I didn't find the easy answer. So a discovered attack, we just push this pawn with a discovered check. Then what does the king do? The king has to move. He can only go here or here. He can't, capture the checking queen, can't block it. He has to run. Then what? If we go, oh, either way, I think that's a mate. So we go there, check. If the king moves here, it's a checkmate, or if he moves here, that is a checkmate as well. All right, so there we go. And the mate. So this is a great pattern where we have all these squares around the king. When the queen is protected, like it is by this pawn, and it's attacking on one of the side squares, well, it's attacking through the middle, left and right, and these two diagonal squares. The only thing not covered is here where the queen is and here where the king is. So this is a great pattern to know. All right, on to puzzle number 5. The king was being checked, moves to the back rank. And what do we have now? Well, material, 3 pawns. Three pawns versus 3. We're down. We have knight and bishop versus their queen. So that's not looking too good for us. And the queen is ready to snatch this up, except that we could just check the king back and forth here. But the king could start running towards the center. And it'll be harder to keep checking when this rook is covering here. All right. What else do we have as far as checks? That's it. I mean, is there any other check? Or if we do that, we'll just be captured. And then the knight could try and come in here. Does that do anything? Well, then that's not a forcing move. It's not a check. So then their queen could start attacking us, along the back rank. All right, we're looking for the discovered attack. Discovered attack. How do we set up a discovered attack? What do you see in this position? Okay, if we go there, check. The king goes here. Maybe we go there, forcing the king. Well, the rook could just capture, but then our bishop could check. And then what? He has to move into the center more. Oh, and then it works, I think. Okay, so we go there. We deliver the check. Now we can check again. He blocks. So, oh, now we set up the discovered attack. If we go there delivering another check, the king, well, I guess he could move here. And if we try to check again, he could move down. But then that's either way, it's going to set up a discovered attack where we can move. I mean, this will be lined up on the king, and we can move our bishop down and attack the queen maybe. All right. So we probably have to do this. If he takes that rook, then the same thing. We go there with a discovered attack and grab the queen. All right, on to puzzle number 6. I better try and speed these up. That way this isn't another marathon video. Okay, here we go. Rook has just dropped back with a threat of what? Pinning the pawn to the rook. Okay. So the pawn is trying to move in this direction. If we look at checks first, if we look at checks first, we just go there, then what? Does the king keep moving forward? Or excuse me, not there. If we go there, the king moves forward but goes in that direction. Oh, then we have the check, and then we can grab the rook. So if we go there, the king can only go here, and then we have a check with the discovered attack on the rook. All right, check, discovered attack, grab the rook. All right, rated 2080, and I hope you got that one. Okay, what happened here? Did we just have a capture? Material, we have 4 pawns versus 6. What about the rest of the material? We're down a piece as well, a minor piece. We do have a possibility of maybe setting up a discovered attack on the king, a discovered check. We could go here, grabbing this knight, regaining some material, and attacking the queen. But what do we do after that? So that looks to be the best move. We capture with an attack. There's going to be a discovered attack, so then maybe we go here next, targeting the rook, and we'll have the discovered attack on the king. So if we go here, threatening this discovered attack once the bishop moves, where will that queen go? The queen is also being attacked, so it'll probably go here. But then I think we can just go ahead with the plan, capturing here, and that rook is trapped in there. So I think that works. Oh, but we should look at checks. Can the queen move with a check? It can, but I don't see anything that does any damage to us. All right, so now we can, well, we can still go there if we want to, unless there's something better. Because we'll have a check, and they'll have to deal with that, and then we could pick the rook off, but we need to look for checks against our own king, which he can't do. He can block, you know, here maybe, or block with, anyway, this looks to be the way to go. So he blocked that way. Now we can just take the rook, unless there's anything better, any kind of check. No. All right, we just grab the material. Okay, that's what they wanted. We're almost done. On to puzzle number 8. The knight has just moved to the edge of the board, attacking our bishop, and we also have a discovered attack set up. So how do we take advantage of this? Well, maybe it looks really dangerous here. We have both bishops in the king's area here. This one's lined up on the king. We have this dangerous rook on the open file. Maybe we can set up some type of windmill attack if it's not a mate threat here. Okay, we have to move this bishop, and then we'll have the check. But that could be blocked different ways. So we probably have to move the bishop here to block this battery from checking. And the only thing they can do is block with the knight. And then we can still deliver a check. And is that a mate as well? I think so. All right. We go there. Now we're going to have our discovered attack. Okay. We go there. So now we move. And we could have possibly this windmill set up where we just keep going back and forth here further each time. And we grab all these pieces unless there's a mate. Oh, and maybe we can set up a mate once we, because of this extra bishop here. So this is a pretty cool pattern. Wow. All right. So we want to go there with the discovered. Oh, wait a minute. Almost messed up. Because if we do that, they could just grab our checking piece. Huh. So that changes things up a little bit. So what do we do then? Okay, well, we did grab extra material, I guess. I mean, because we got that knight, we can grab this knight. But are we going to be down material? They have an extra queen. So, wow, what can we do here? This one turned out to be more complicated than I thought. Okay. Well, maybe now we just bail out by attacking the queen. You know, they take, but then our rook is in trouble. Do we go there and attack the queen? If they take, we take. If he takes that, I don't know. We're still behind in material. Wow, what am I missing here? We could use the double discovered attack, but if we go here or here with our rook, attacking with the rook and the bishop, the king can just take either spot. So what am I missing here? Is there a way to set up a checkmate? I mean, if we go there, he can just take that with the rook. Oh, maybe we have to bring the other rook into the action over here with a sacrifice. If we go there, that's a double discovered check. And the king would have to take. Okay, yeah, that looks to be the way to go. We go there. And the king had to take because he was being checked by two pieces at once. And when that happens, you can't block or run, or excuse me, you can't block or capture two pieces at the same time. So the king has to run. And in this case, he captured one of them as both were checking him. So we bring the rook over. And now that's the mate because the bishop is preventing the king from going back in the corner. And there's nothing to block. Wow, okay. Yeah, these are a little more complicated. We have two more puzzles. On to puzzle number 9. The queen did what here? Queen just... Did it capture anything? I didn't see. All right, material. We have 5 pawns. The opponent has 4, so we're up by a pawn. We each have a queen. And... well, they have 2 rooks, so we're down by a rook for a extra knight, I believe. All right. So what can we do here? If we're looking for checks, captures, and threats, checks first. All right. We could go there with check. Lining up on the unprotected queen. You always want to look for tactics when there are unprotected pieces or pawns. You may be able to go after those. So, by going here with a check, we're also lining up on the queen. Where does the king go? Could only go here. Can't capture the queen. He could block with the rook. But then our knight, well, yeah, if he blocks, we just capture the rook. So if he runs into the corner, our knight goes here, attacking the king, and we grab the queen. So check, check, grab the queen, and we also have his rook under attack, and he has to deal with that. But material-wise now, we are ahead in material, a queen for a rook there. All right, on to the final puzzle. Okay, a rook just captured. What was that, a knight maybe? Something was captured here. So material-wise, now we have even number of pawns at 6 apiece. Queen, 2 rooks. And so we're down a minor piece now. So they captured, I think, a knight. So we're down in material. We're looking for a discovered attack, which luckily we have one. So hopefully you found the answer. Pause if you need to look further. If not, we look for checks first. And the only check that I see is to go there, delivering the check. Once that is captured, or the king moves, we can grab the queen. So check, and we grab the queen there. Oh, and it continues on. Now our queen is kind of blocked in by this bishop. Huh. What do we do now? to get our queen to freedom. Can that queen go anywhere? Maybe we just bring our rook over here, threaten to capture that, and then that'll help our queen run to safety. And also, they could be trying to set up a discovered attack on their own with their bishop and the rook. So if we go here, that could maybe stop that possible threat. So I think that's the way to go right there. Okay, I guess that's what they wanted, because now they can't try that move. But even if they did, well, maybe that would work. Yeah, if they did that, that could be a dangerous threat, because once the rook would have moved there, lining up on our queen, and the threat of going here with check and then grabbing the queen. So now our rook just stops that. All right, well, I hope you did good on these 10 puzzles. They were a little bit more difficult for me. Hopefully you did well. Feel free to leave comments, on anything on your mind. I always enjoy hearing from viewers and subscribers, and I try to, do videos on any of your requests, and I try to answer all the comments. If I haven't answered any comments before, send another comment, because sometimes they don't come through right away like normal, once in a while. All right, well, like and subscribe to support the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and have a super chess day.